Lance Flash signing in to my subscribers. What up? And if you're new around these parts, just stopping by to see how I do things around here, what up, what up? So we about to get into that Stephen A. Smith versus T.O. beef. And recently Stephen A. Smith went on a Joe Budden podcast and he was talking about how it was working with Max Kellerman. He was like, yo, they could either let me go or they could let him go because the chemistry's not there anymore. People started tagging T.O. to an old interview that he had with Max and Stephen A. when T.O. said something like, Max more blacker than you, Stephen A. But as in that interview, Stephen A. addressed that right then and there. As they was tagging T.O. to it, people was like, boom, boom, boom. His phone was blowing up. And before you knew it, T.O. done messed around and retweeted and said facts. So Stephen A. Smith, he looking at it like, yo, this ain't even got nothing to do with you. What you doing? So the gloves that came off. Stephen A. Smith went to his YouTube channel and he messed around and pulled up a clip. He done started his video with the clip of T.O. crying like, that's my teammate. I'm like, oh man, it's fit to go downhill. So as he was talking about T.O., he started holding some papers up. So I was thinking like, man, why he holding these papers up? Is he saying he can expose T.O. if he want? So I went over there to the Up and Smoke podcast and I see T.O. did an interview with them guys. And T.O. was like, man, if you got any dirt on me, you can expose me. The time is now, you can do it. I know you ain't got dirt on me. Stephen A. Smith and T.O. had like a private conversation through text. And T.O. was like, Stephen A. Smith done brought that public. He was talking about some of it on ESPN. So some attorneys started reaching out to T.O. like, yo, we could sue ESPN and Stephen A. Smith. He was like, you know, why not? That's the way he started feeling about it because he looked at ESPN in a certain way because he was like, man, they downplayed my character. They put me out to the world in a certain way, pushing a certain narrative, trying to make me look like a bad guy and an awful person. And I'm nothing like that. So Stephen A. Smith, he was like, they tried to go through with the lawsuit and they laughed it off. Nothing came out of it. And he was like, he tried to make it seem like T.O. hurting for cash and, you know, he desperate, he need attention. So T.O. looking like, man, when you see me stand on business, like, you know, have that same energy because you put me out there in a certain type of way because you got access to these platforms. And he was even saying, like Stephen A. Smith talking like, yo, I defended you when people were speaking bad. And he started calling out names like Coach Prime, Brian Dawkins, Donovan McNabb. And these people he be around to this day. So that's kind of messed up because now he got it looking like, yo, do these guys be talking about me? That's the way T.O. probably gonna be looking at him like, do these guys be talking about me? What they really think about me? So now that could be awkward. And, you know, he could think a certain type of way towards those fellas when he probably really want to do business with them and, you know, be in cahoots. I was looking at some of the past interviews and Stephen A. Smith was like, he always went to back for T.O. and he still think highly of his playing abilities. He look at him like the third best wide receiver of all time. But he was like, man, I always had his back, but now he's stabbing me in my back. He said something to those regards. But Stephen A. like, yo, I seen you a few weeks ago. We was at the Nebraska game and we was close to each other and nothing happened. So don't put on that tough guy role and try to make it seem like it is what it is when we see each other. Cause Stephen A. like, yo, I don't even need to speak to you again. T.O. hinted at like, you know, I don't got the money like I should have cause my agents, Phil Rosenhaus and the other guy, they introduced me to somebody and they stole millions of dollars from me. So that's kind of a low blow the way you trying to put the public in my business, try to make it seem like I'm broke and, you know, I'm desperate. I'm in desperation mode. But even Kyrie Irving, he sent out a tweet and he was like, yo, y'all need to do what y'all need to do behind closed doors. Y'all need to have a conversation. And even over there, Stack 5 and Matt Barnes said they need to have a conversation. Because me personally, just hearing both of them talk about it, I think it's some things that happen behind the scenes that they not mentioning. And it's some pieces of the puzzles that's missed and we don't know about. And just for me hearing both sides, both guys, I can see why they feel a certain type of way. But Stephen A. Smith said he's not mad at T.O., but T.O., he have been portrayed in a certain light for so many years, or people look at him like he's a problem or he a distraction, and he trying to come out and tell his side, and you know, he trying to control his narrative and let people know, man, it's nothing like that. I'm nothing like that. He was like, man, I've had hour and 2 hour interviews and they just cut, you know, this little 3-minute segment out of that interview and got me looking like this. But while you right there, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that like. Let me know below in the comments who you think is right. Are you signed with T.O. or are you signed with Stephen A. Smith? And until next time, peace.